So hello, welcome to my channel, Lady D. This will be my horoscope on Prince Charles with his coronation that is coming in here on the 6th of May. So we're going to look at his chart. I'll also do some cards on him to do with his career and also to do with relationships because they're going hand in hand with the job that he's in. We're going to look at the chart first and then see what we see. He is born on the 14th of the 11th, 1948, and it's at 9:14 p.m. is what I have his birth is. So let's look at his chart now. So let's just share the screen. Okay. So here we are here. He's in ascending Leo. So he's going to kind of come across as being quite social. He's going to come across as being someone who probably reps very strong. He's very stubborn. He's got a lot of planets in the fixed signs, so he's quite stubborn himself. Probably someone who likes to be liked by others, wants to be in the in crowd, very social, but also he comes across as having ego too with that Leo there in the first, with the ascending there. There's also too, like this guy, he likes loyalty, and he's really wanting that loyalty with that Leo they're sending to as well. He does have a Scorpio sun and it's in the 4th house. So the family would be very important to him. Also with the Scorpio here, Scorpios can be quite like intense, mysterious, passionate, and powerful. So the sun in Scorpio continues regardless of setbacks and is focused on the task. They also like to travel. They also like loyalty Scorpios. They are very good. They're very loyal friends to family and also his friends. They're very loyal. If you have a Scorpio in your life, they're very loyal to you. But once you cross that line, it's like if you cut a Scorpio, it's bad news. So I say, don't be careful, Scorpios, don't cross them, because I do have that stinger. And they find out your weakness and then they use it against you to protect themselves. But he's also very focused on family. And also his dad, he'd see his dad as a family man too. He has a moon that's in Taurus up here in the 10th house. He would get a bit emotional having the moon in his 10th house to do with his career. It's very, very important. And he gets very like maybe anxiety or very like, there's a bit of emotion there with the career. So he craves security and he doesn't like change. His focus is on money, power, and material instinct. He's also with the Taurus there, as I said, does not like change, very stubborn man, but likes to be comfortable, likes good food, good music. He'd be interested, he would like that. And about his security. He'd be like, he wants to feel secure with him. He's also got his node here in Taurus that's also in his 10th house. So this is his life path, life lesson for this lifetime. It's the path of inner security. The soul is learning the strength that comes from awareness and self as the immortal soul is on a human journey. This is the only security that can be taken out of the life and death. Okay. Also being a Scorpio, he makes way for the old he clears the old to make way for the new. They're ruled by Pluto, and Pluto is about the Phoenix as well. Okay, also the soul's task is to develop inner and outer authority and to find success through a career. So he wants to be very successful here. Pluto in the 1st house, he does have a temper. There is also uniqueness with him, but I see Pluto in the 1st house. It's usually you have a temper, especially being in a fire sign. So they're probably someone as well who likes to make way for new things and get rid of old things and do it his way. I feel like he's going to do things his way. Okay. Also here too, when he was born, perhaps his birth may have been quite intense when he was born. We don't know this, but sometimes Pluto in the 1st can bring about when you were born, things can indicate things happen with planets being in the 1st house of your birth. So a great deal for him goes on beneath the surface, and his life can also be he might feel like his life is very intense having this Pluto here too. With the 2nd house, we've got Saturn being in the 2nd house. Saturn is the earnings and self-worth. He probably has issues with self-worth, and he probably also has, for him, as we've seen, his career doesn't go smoothly ever. So he's not born with terrific planets here in the earnings, and we've got the moon's okay, life path's okay, but that makes him a bit emotional there. But also makes him, with this Saturn that's in the second house, does make him hardworking. So he's very high conscientious. He's hardworking. Probably doesn't like to failure. So failure is his biggest fear. Having this here, reserve strengths and wisdom as well. Having this in the second house. Third house for siblings is empty, just means it's not important for this part in his life for him. But yet we've got this fourth house, and we've got so much here in this fourth house. We've got Neptune, we've got Venus, we've got Mercury, and we have the Sun. So we've got here, so Neptune, I always read Neptune as dissolve. So it's like the family dissolves. Every scene with his with his first marriage did not last. We've had, he's had many different things happening in his family as well. But it is also close to that third house, which can indicate to do with the siblings as well. If it's so close, the timing's a little bit out of here. We don't know. But also here we've got aspires to romantic love that falls like to delusion. There's also deception, delusion when we got Neptune as well. Is also can be led, and then deception maybe also to be led in sort of relationships with the family too. So he has sort of rose-colored glasses on when it comes to family, but I also see this as a dissolve here as well. So as we see with his son, his son's not sort of part of the family at the moment. So yeah, we got here Venus in the fourth house. That means that you'll find that if you went to his house, you'd have all nice little knickknacks everywhere. People who have Venus in the fourth house, I find, have nice little things around everywhere. They've nicely decorated their house. He's very good at communicating, or he feels most comfortable communicating to his family as well. But I feel like there's a lot of secrecy with him, with the also Mercury and in the Scorpio, because he's going to hold sort of judgment. He's also going to want things to be the way he thinks is very Scorpionic. So there's a bit of deception that would come with him. He would hold things in too. Okay. He also falls in love quite easily, being his Venus in Libra as well. And then we've also got this Sun here. Also here, he likes women or people who does everything for him. So having also this Venus here in Libra, he'd be someone who likes women to do everything for him too. But strong-minded, having this Mercury here in Scorpio, very strong-minded person too. But it's also, I feel like with this is a bit of how he perceives things. There's a bit of insecurity as well. But he also, where he thinks there's suspicious manipulation here with him too. Okay, so we've got here in the fifth house, and as I said, I've done Harry's chart. Harry, William, and Charles all have Chiron here in this fifth house. So this fifth house, his relationships is also children. We've got Chiron, we've got Mars, and we have Jupiter. So he actually has luck with relationships. He's got Mars as a strength, which can also be arguments, which is going to help this Chiron. But ultimately, this man is not going to be happy in any relationship that he is in. And I feel like it has to be about him. I feel like he does get a bit jealous here with all these sort of planets here in Scorpio. And it's also to do with his wound, like deep wounds that he has too. But also relationships. This is his emotional pain. Could also be with children. He probably has a lot of arguments with children too, with his kids. Or in relationships, will be argumentative as well. So he does have, but at the same time, there is Jupiter here, which helps and helps him get along with them too. Okay, so we've got here the DC to do with relationships too. He'd also like women that like things to be balanced as well. So the DC here, also about relationships, finds commitment and intimacy extremely difficult. So, and he's also got here that's what with the DC to with relationships in Aquarius. So he finds Aquarians are a bit, I say they're a bit cold-hearted and they detach. So with him, relationships, it's hard for him in relationships. Okay. So I've always felt this too, that at the moment, what the media is portraying with him and Camilla, it's not what the media are portraying. So what I see in the charts, what I feel, but they're portraying that it's this big love romance. I can just see through past transit and what he's born in, it's not like that at all. Because he is this relationship would work because she probably makes him to send up attention. Okay, so we've also got here with the MC. So he can be assertive and outgoing and wants to make an impact with his career as well. The MC that's here. And just for today, I'm only doing the houses that do have planets in it, just so we don't make this a super long video. Otherwise, it'd be very here for like 2 hours. We also go through every aspect. So I'm just going through where the planets are, and we can see a lot where they are in the houses that they're in too. In the 11th house, he does have Uranus here. The 11th house, his friends. Uranus is unexpected, unusual. So the people that he keeps as his friends, probably unexpected and very different people, as we can see. Unexpected things happens to him with friends as well. With him. And the thing with Charles, how he comes across or how he gets women in relationships, he does come across being quite fun. He'd come across as being a risk taker as well, with him in relationships too. And okay, so we've also got in family the IC. He wants to be part, for Prince Charles, he needs to be part of a harmonious family. So he finds security being part of a harmonious family too, with also having that IC in Libra. So it needs to be like stable for him, but I have a feeling everything is unstable for him. So what we've got with the transits that are coming up here, well, we've got this eclipse. So I have this as the date as the eclipse. And as we can see, if we go down here, the moon, it is a lunar eclipse. It is happening over his sun. It is also going to be opposite Uranus here that's up here in the 10th. This is going to be something unexpected that happens for him in his life. It's going to be also a revealing of a secret that could come out of here as well. With eclipses, we are looking at 6 months. This is probably not the best time to get coronated, but this is what they've done. As a good point, he does have Jupiter coming up over his moon, which, is luck over his emotions and home in about, a couple of weeks' time. Jupiter will be into this house and will go directly over the moon, which will be some good energy. Plus, as I said in my other videos, I knew that he would get coronated when Jupiter was in the 10th house because that's luck over the career. So I knew it would be when Jupiter was in there, and it's just come in. So it's in the first quarter. He's also got Uranus as a transit here in his 10th house, which is unexpected in his career. So there's still some that's still there, going to be there for maybe this year and possibly even next year. So with that, there is going to be some unexpected stuff happening for him in the career. With this Jupiter over his moon, this is going to indicate that he also does something new for the home. So perhaps he does decorating or something positive for the home as well, something new, maybe even a move. Could be that he moves a castle, improves something in the home as well. That Jupiter over there. Now he does have Chiron that's also making its way and coming into this 10th house. Chiron is our emotional pain, as I explained down here in the 5th house. It's up here, the transit. This is where I feel like things aren't going to go according to plan for him. He has got Chiron in the 10th, so it's like when this Jupiter leaves next year, Jupiter will be in this house for about a year. Early next year it will leave. Leaving the Chiron and Uranus here, this is not going to go well for him having this here, especially when it comes over in a few years' time and hits the moon here. He's not going to be feeling the best as well. And it's going to be a painful life lesson not long after it hits the moon too. So this is where I feel like things are after, next year, where things aren't going to go as smoothly according to plan or smooth, and he's going to get quite intense emotionally with this. It's going to affect him a lot. we've got here also transits. We have Neptune in the ninth. Ninth is travel. It is also higher learning, it's education, it's study. So Neptune here might become more psychic, more spiritual perhaps, maybe be less travel coming up for him, or not wanting to learn too. Or there could be a bit of delusion in this area as well. We've got Saturn that's here in the 8th house. The 8th house is about money, money from other people. Okay, it's going to be here for over another year yet. There's going to be problems. He's got problems here when it comes to people with people's money. So that's not good for a king. When we're dealing with other people's money is what he deals with. He gets paid by the people. So this is not a good sign for him to have it there. There can be some health issues that are going to come up here. He does have Pluto in the 6th, so Pluto is like the phoenix, so there can be some health issues that can come up for him until that is out of that house. Then it's going to go into the 7th house, which is going to cause some dramas in the relationship department with him. The same as if you, year or two time, a couple of years time, when Uranus goes into the 11th house, he's going to have unexpected with his friends. It's going to be coming in here too. But for him also next year, when Jupiter makes its way over in this 11th house, he will also be more social, meet new people as well. And then after that, it's going to go into the 12th. So his chart is quite complex. There is a lot going in, and I could be here for a long time to go more about the chart, but I think that's a bit enough just to look at his chart too. When we look at Camilla's chart, I feel like he actually would have gotten, if he just gave, worked things out with Diana, probably would have gotten along better with her too. But also with the Princess Diana, she was a Cancer, but she had a Chiron when I met. She had Chiron going for her 5th house. I have looked at her chart before, and I could see why the relationship didn't quite work with her. With Camilla, I think with him and her, they both have the same transits. So in terms of the houses, they've got very similar. So she's also got the Jupiter in the 10th as a transit. She's also got Chiron coming in in the 10th too. She's got the Uranus there. So unexpectedly at the moment, we can see that, she's very much liked and in the media, even with him. But I just don't see that lasting, the likeness, and also Jupiter's helping here. Give it next year, it comes out, got this Chiron, it's not going to go well for them. So when they're both having good times in relationships or work, whichever area Jupiter's in, they've got the same transits. Different placements of planets, but same transits. For her, she hides a lot. She's a Cancer. She's a Sun in Cancer, she's a Moon in Cancer, she's got Venus, and she's got Mercury. She hides her communication, probably finds it hard to communicate a lot of times. She probably feels very hidden. Her emotions also hidden here. She hides her love as well. And I think Diana was also a Cancer, so it's just strange how he's fallen for Cancers. I'm pretty sure she was a Cancer. Camilla, she's got dissolved siblings. For Camilla, interesting enough, so her relationship houses are pretty much empty except for her friends. In her 4th house, she does have Chiron and Jupiter. So Chiron for her with family, this is her emotional pain. But at the same time, she's got Jupiter there. So similar as Charles, he's in the 5th, hers is in the 4th. But yeah, so she's got the same transit. So her too also have money problems with other people's money as well. So even would have found out a few years ago, they would have had problems in their marriage. They wouldn't have gone smoothly for them for a couple of years too. And also around the coronation, she's probably going to feel coming up after that week, she's probably going to feel a bit angry too. I can actually see in her chart as well. She worries a lot. She's also got anger issues too because she's got Pluto also in that 1st house. And it's also in Leo. They're both ascending Leos, which I thought was interesting. Both ascending Leos. Yeah, so they both got same placements just as they are, although she's the Cancer with her. She likes men that are very social. She likes men that are social butterflies, who are good networkers. That's sort of people that she likes. And her life lessons to do with the 11th house when we look at Camilla. So, but I don't know, I just feel like this is this relationship is something that probably like had to happen. They've probably had to get married. I don't think he can really divorce this one. He's sort of stuck with her. But I just don't believe the media and what they're portraying to be real. When I look at the charts and what I feel, I actually met them. Didn't meet them personally, but I met them when I was at the Commonwealth Games. That when I was in Brisbane. And I was like, I just didn't get the best vibes from them too. All right. She's actually got nothing in the 5th house, nothing in the 7th house either. Her 10th house is empty. So she actually, or her chart, the planet's on one side. All right, let's have a look and do some cards. And so with him, when the Queen did pass, as I've always said in my other videos, that I was like two, he'd be in power for 2 years. And then I've even like keep on asking and I keep on getting a 1. So I feel like we're looking at a 1 to 2 years for him to be in power. I just don't feel like he's going to be in power for that long. I feel like he's got a lot of stuff to he's got a lot of lessons to learn. And with the transits, I just don't see that working out for him. I also was seeing too, I think I mentioned it my video beginning. I kept on seeing him. It's like I feel like he's going to step back. I feel like he'll step back and let William take over. It's like I kept on seeing sort of rotten tomatoes being thrown at him, and then people praising when William comes into power. And as we've seen in the media, there's been rotten eggs being thrown at him, or eggs being thrown at him. I mean, that rotten, but there have been eggs. All right, let's do some cards. On to do with his work. I just see him stepping back, and I feel like could be a year, could be within me looking at it sort of a year or bit over a year, could be the 2 years. I just don't see him being in power for a long time. I just feel like everyone's going to be much more happier when William comes into power. I've sort of said, I always feel like that William's very lucky to have Diana as his mother. And he does have that resemblance with her too. Okay, let's have a look here. Okay. All right, so he's signing a contract. He is coming into king, so there is a coronation that's coming off hand. But there is an ending that's coming up here. I feel like it could be a year. We might be looking at a year, a year, and then we're going into William's reign as well. And I feel like we're looking at meetings with family members. But there's endings here. There's either he's ending it or there's someone leaving the family. And this is not Harry. It's not Harry. There's a lot of stuff I feel like he still needs to learn here when it comes to the career, whether he needs to study or brush up on certain things. I feel like he wants things to be done his way. It's like his way or the highway. I feel like we might even see more temper tantrums coming up of him as well. He's going to demand, but he still doesn't really know what he's doing here. There is fun things. There is a power struggle as well with this too. And I just feel like this is not going to be what it dreamed to be. It's not going to be what he'd hoped or what, I don't know. There's something different here. There's also a feeling of feeling trapped. And I feel like the feeling of being trapped might be also why he gives it up. I feel like he wants to control things. I feel like there's ties with him with the the World Forum, which I feel like is not the best connection to have with someone who's meant to be with, the people, looking after people. But there's also a sense here of trapment as well that is coming up. It's like, yeah. And I don't feel like he's ready to let go. I kind of feel like he also might be a bit of a bully as well, Prince Charles. I feel like that him and Camilla, I feel like they're separate, and I will do cards on relationships for him. But I just feel like that it's like there's a media frenzy as well with this, but I feel like there's going to be something about meetings, signing documents. And it's not the coronation. So the signing of documents, which I thought could be the coronation, I don't feel like it is. I feel like this could be about him stepping down and giving it to William. I don't know. I just don't feel like we're going to be waiting long before we get before William comes in. Why was he step back? It could be that he's thinking he's too old. I feel like the people it's like they aren't warming to him. It's like he's like sandpaper. The public aren't warming to him. And I just feel like everybody does want William to take that next step to go up there with him. And it's like he's going to try and create like a balance. And I feel like he's trying to do a number of different things here to please people as well. But I feel like it's not going to work. And I feel like even with the media, he's going to have his day. It's just I don't feel like it's going to be positive with him, with what I see, because there's going to be like a spending habits. I feel like maybe even coming out and how he spends the money too. And he needs to learn, as there's lessons for him that he needs to learn, which he hasn't learned yet. And there's a power struggle here as well that's coming up with him too. I feel like Camilla's trying to hide in the background, but there's going to be cracks that forming. And it even could be from September as well. But this eclipse being, I don't know, I don't feel like it's a good time to be. This eclipse too could also affect his 4th house. It could affect the family as well. But I feel like we're seeing cracks being formed too as well. Okay, let's have a look at some cards on relationships for him. Anything else I can see with the career? I know, I just don't see it. I just feel like there's the ending. That exit card's really standing out to me. He's going to try and juggle everything. He is juggle everything around, but it's not fun and games. I feel like this is not going to be what he thought it would be, and he wants to change things. But the more he wants to change things, people are watching him and taking notice. At the moment, it's all about the hype. It's all about the fun, the ceremony, the passing on the baton. But even with this passing the baton, could be passing on to William. I'm going to say give it 1 or 2. I see him getting 1, but I feel like it could even be like 2 years. I feel like he's the sort of person that would complain a lot too. I feel like he would complain, having that ascending Leo. Okay. But even with him, as I said, with his career, his earnings, it's never smooth sailing for him with Saturn. It's not like his mum. You could see in his mum's chart that she was born to be queen. His chart, no, he doesn't have the best relationship with people. The work, it's just not a good chart. Let's have a look here. And just with the transits, because also too, eventually once Neptune then goes into the 10th house, that's going to be dissolving the career anyway. So that is a slower moving planet, and there will be a way off. That could be like 10 years away, but we've got endings that I see. We've got things that's going to be hard over the next 10 years. This is very hard for him in his career. It's hard. I kind of feel like it's like the same thing from his uncle. His uncle was a Nazi, and he has ties with the German person in WHF. So there's things here. There'll be unexpected love. So his unexpected money or love. So I feel like that could be doing with Harry. It's coming up to coronation. I feel like he's quite happy to see Harry there. It's something to do with, that's going to do with Harry, I do feel. He will have Venus over his Uranus. Like he's going to be happy that, I feel like he's very happy with his children. He does want them to get along. But at the same time, it's just, yeah, it's hard. Okay. Look at relationship. There's people leaving him. Okay. So I'm doing this on relationships with him. I kind of feel like when it comes to relationships, he wants peace, but he also wants financial stability. He wants a unique but good relationship, but I don't feel like this is Camilla. I don't feel like this is Camilla. I kind of always feel like he's had other people besides her. He also dated Diana's sister as well, which people don't remember. There's a lot of traveling here. So I feel like maybe him and Camilla are going to do a lot of traveling together, or he's going to do a lot of traveling. There is that aspect too. There's a lot of positive things indicating romance, but there's also a card here of worry and anxiety and trying to do up different plans and different ideas. And I feel like that's about him being liked by the people. He's going to come up here. He wants to be liked. He's going to come up with certain ideas on how he can be liked as well. And it's like back to the drawing board, but at the same time, people are leaving him too. And there's also a lack, I feel like, belief in himself to do with relationships as well. I just feel like I keep on seeing sandpaper. I just feel like people aren't going to warm up to him. It's like sandpaper. And it's going to be a hard lesson for him to learn, is what I feel like. He's still got a lot to learn about relationships and people and knowledge here. I feel like the Meghan Markle's like a thorn in his side, but I feel like when that marriage ends, it's just going to be better for him. He is going to feel a lot better too, and he will be happy. But I do see a lot of travel that's coming up, probably in America as well. Even could be like next year. There is a lot of traveling that's coming up, and coming up to Australia as well. I do feel like he's going to come back here too as well on him. There's family and money, a very important part coming up here as well with him. Family and money too, but ends also with the celebrations as well. There could be another baby for Kate as well. I feel like Kate, 4 babies for Kate. We've got 4 babies for her. So it could be another baby for her coming up as well, which will be very good too. All right, I will leave it there for this video. So thank you for your likes, shares, and your comments, and I will see you for my next video. So bye for now.